Hi guys, welcome back to the Baggins International video. You're here with Baggins, and today we're having a look at the most difficult trophy on Need for Speed 2015, or at least that is based on it being ultra rare, and very few people having actually completed it. And the challenge is taking the Hoonicorn, or the Crashercorn as I like to call it, around the Mental Block Gymkhana track and scoring in excess of 350,000 points for drifting, and it's very, very difficult. I'll tell you that for free. It took me a couple of runs, and I like a good drift as much as the next person, but the combination of drifting and speed around this ridiculous circuit is pretty tricky. Anyway, so I just thought I would document the actual run at the point at which we achieved the trophy, and as you can see, it starts off rather pleasingly. The Crashercorn is going quite well. It is a little flighty on the rear. I don't know, I think probably everyone's had a go in the Hoonicorn car on Need for Speed. I think it is a prerequisite of the story, so I'm sure you guys will have had a chance to have a go at it. But when you're under pressure and you're really trophy hunting, and this is sort of part way towards completing the story section of trophies, having already achieved sort of platinum on the standard game. But when you're really under the pressure and these gymkhanas are very pressurized, because you can't spend too much time drifting, because if you run out of time, that's it. You time out of the competition. So it doesn't matter. You could have 400,000 points, but if you don't get over the start-finish line, you haven't made it. So you've really got to make... Ooh, it's a close one. You've got to make a concerted effort to get some speed, but also to get the points for the drifting. Now this is horrible. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. This particular corner didn't go particularly well. I panicked because of that AI car. It was looking alright up to that point. But the Crashercorn is so slippery on the rear that trying to drive it properly, or to even get some sort of decent racing line going, is so difficult, because under heavy braking it just steps right out, and it's very difficult to then catch it again. So you do end up sort of doing the odd pirouette here and there. On this particular track, you start off in the mountains. I'm sure you guys are familiar with it, but you start off in the mountains here, so we're sort of right up in the north of the map. In a little while we end up going to the city. Now I would say if you haven't managed to achieve at least 180,000 points drifting before you go through the tunnel... Oh, it's a bad crash. Before you go through the tunnel, which is coming up quite shortly, it's almost impossible to get the difference in the city section, because the corners, the big corners where the points are, is in this first, I guess, third of the map. So this is the tunnel. So if you haven't got 180,000, 200,000 points to be on the safe side by the time you go through there, you'll end up in trouble. Now I tend to race in Need for Speed with all of the HUD on-screen information off, so I have no idea, other than just pure feel, whether this is a decent run. Now, on the basis I didn't crash into any of those trees or the lamppost, or indeed that security hut, as I had done in previous runs, I felt that it was going not too badly. When you get into the tarmac as well, on this sort of flat section where in the city, the Hoonicorn, it's almost as if it doesn't have tyres. It's almost as if it's just on sheet ice, or just on steel rims with no rubber at all. It's so slippery. And these transitional sections where you go from the road off onto... I mean, I don't know why this is in a railway yard, but it is. Oh, that's a bit close. Got to be very careful of that tree. But I don't know why that's... Why really, I'm not sure it adds any value going off the tarmac onto the dirt, say into a railway yard or otherwise for this sort of thing, because really all you're trying to do there is damage limitation, so you don't want to absolutely spank it into a fence or jink over the railway line. I mean, things like this is fine. I mean, I like that. There's a bit of added value here, going through the container yard, dropping down, nice sweeping left-hand corner at this point. But the off onto the dirt seems bizarre. But there we are. That's the name of the game. So I'm not really sure at this point where we're up to on the point. I do know we've crashed quite a lot, but we are making reasonable time as well. There's a sort of a balance between nothing and not. If you don't want to crash horribly, but at the same time you need to make steady progress down the straight sections as you can. Now this is another, so we're off-road again here. Don't know about it. There's lots of jumps in this as well where you crash into things straight away as soon as you come off them. So a number of times I came over this jump and spanked straight into the back of that container, which is extremely high risk. Very nearly took out that sign there. I think I did take the sign out, but fortunately avoided crashing into the barrels. So if you guys haven't had a go of this, please have an attempt. Now we can shift cars off to storage. I always try and make sure we've got one slot where I can bring back down a hero car and sort of sell it again. Obviously there's no fee attached to these cars, so you can't tune them. You have got what you've got, but at the same time, if you can just ship your car off to the garage and bring something back, or you can just fill an empty slot with one, they're quite fun. Ooh, that's a low wall. Now this section you can get some big points, but you've got to be very careful, because 9 times out of 10 there's tons of traffic. I was very fortunate on this run not to crash straight into a lorry or a wagon, which is what tended to happen, or indeed a taxi. Taxi seems to like this area. Also, if you go very, very quickly, you can hit the back of that trailer there quite hard, and that blows your car up, which is a great shame. So, coming towards the end of the run here, I hope you've enjoyed this Baggins International video. If you want to check out some more Need for Speed content, do have a look at the playlist. And if you've enjoyed this video and you want to check out more of the channel, then do please subscribe. There's a great back catalogue of stuff to watch. Thanks again, I've been Baggins. Good night.